Well, this movie just sucked. Done. Yeah, and then I will cut it and it will make it look. That would be just funny, because that might as well be how you sum up this movie. We went to see planes. I don't know why I expected better. I really don't, because it's not Pixar; it's Disney who's doing it. So, no, this is just a cash cow, really, when it comes to it. You really hate. Did you really hate this movie that much?
Yes, I hate this movie.
Why? Why?
When it I don't know, goes stab the writer's eye out with a pen or something. I just hate it. And I'm scared. I'm just going to go in full kind of rage. I hate this movie.
Yeah.
It
is so forgettable. That's the problem with it. I actually didn't find it as bad as I might have expected. I expected more really shitty. I expected more shit jokes. I expected terrible humour jokes to come out of it. And really, there wasn't any. No, not really. That's the thing.
There were no jokes.
There were jokes.
I don't remember any jokes in this movie.
No, it's hard to.
I do not remember laughing once in this movie.
No, I didn't. I think I chuckled at one point, but I forget why.
I think I fell asleep during this movie.
At some point.
And not only that, we went to see it in 3D.
I will give them this. I will give them credit.
It was terrible.
No, credit where credit is due.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
No, sorry. Credit where credit is due. The 3D when they were flying was actually relatively good, relatively sound.
I've seen better.
I'm saying I've seen better. But I would give them, if you're going to do a movie where there's going to be a lot of flying, the 3D is a good way to go, because you really do get it when it goes to the sort of point of view shots. I'll give them that. That is the only fucking thing in this movie that I can safely say I thought was a good idea. There is nothing.
Go and see it in 3D though, because it's not worth it though.
Yeah, it's not really worth it.
It's not worth it just for those snippets of flying planes.
It's amazing how much of the film can be summed up.
If we'd actually gone and got on a plane ourselves, that would be more
actually, it would have been more exciting if we'd gone to the room and watched Porco-Rosso, because that's a far more interesting movie about flying. I would love to see a 3D version of Porco-Rosso. I like that.
I don't know, this movie was terrible.
It's just re-released Porco-Rosso. It's...
I feel like going to turn to the Incredible Hulk and just go on a rampage.
You see me rant about Kick-Ass and various other films. You barely scratched the surface for ages.
I've had enough of you ranting about that movie, so...
Yeah, this... I don't feel like I can...
I don't even know where to begin because it was so terrible.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you can really even spoil anything. It's more of a question of, have you ever seen one of those genre movies where someone wants to be something that everyone says, oh no, you're not? That's it. That is the rest of... That's the movie is summed up as a genre. It is just that underdog story, but not even done well or anything interesting.
I have no problem
That's the
with
problem.
those stories.
No, I like those stories.
I have no problem with, there being an inanimate object that's made into a human or an animal or whatever it is, wanting to be something that it's not, or wanting to have, it has a dream, and then, it goes and gets it or whatever. I don't mind those stories, but this was just terrible.
Yeah, it's every generic plot point. It's basically like they just spun a wheel of just generic plots
and cliches.
Cliches, and just picked it and just went, oh, we'll just use that one, we'll use that one, we'll crap it out, the little kids will never know.
Yeah, this car needs to say a line. Just throw a dart at a board and we'll pick the most cliche thing ever.
It's perfect about that. I'm actually amazed that, basically, if any of you guys have ever seen the first Cars movie, it's essentially the first Cars movie. It gets so...
I would have rather have watched that.
Actually, no, it's the first... Actually, now think about it. It's the first Cars movie crossed with the second Cars movie. Except it's not about Mater, so thank fucking God we didn't have that. Because if this had been crossed with the second Cars movie, it would have been about the friggin' tanker truck.
Probably.
And
that was not exciting, though.
No, it wouldn't. It would have been terrible. Did you not... You've seen Cars?
Yes, I've seen both of them, but quite a while ago.
Yeah, Cars
2. That's okay, though. Cars 2 is better than this movie.
Yeah, but there's a lot of...
Two and laugh and enjoy it.
There's a lot of movies you could say it's better than this movie.
The only thing going for this movie is, as I said last time, it's bright and it's shiny and it's colourful, and that's the only thing about this movie. And the whole rest of it is just.
Even trying to sort of sum up the plot is just. I'd just be going point by point. It would just be point by point. Yeah, every underdog story ever. It's he has a dream. He wants to have the dream, but everyone tells him no. He begins to train. He somehow gets through by the That's still the stupidest of things, but really for another reason, actually.
No, he's a little crop duster. All he does is fly around and, put stuff on top of the field. And it got me confused at first, because I was there going, why do they have farms in this movie when there aren't supposed to be people? Why are they producing corn? And then they said it was to...
Because they do something with it. It's never really...
Well, they hint that they make it into fuel.
Yeah, so it's probably...
And it's just like...
So yeah, they're growing fuel.
Yeah, but it's just so stupid. It's just stupid.
I find you questioning the world as a movie stupid. Really, it's a movie about talking planes. It's like when someone says, "Oh, in Watchmen, the giant squid at the end is stupid." It's there's a giant blue naked man, and you're finding the squid stupid.
Okay.
You need to read the comic. The comic's awesome and ends with a giant squid. Well, giant alien squid.
Is it like Kraken? Like a Kraken?
It looks kind of like Kraken. Yes.
Oh, I can call it the Kraken.
That'll get you. Read it.
Yeah.
But
Pirates of the Caribbean all over again.
Please God. Fuck no.
Well, at least you didn't go see the Lone Ranger.
You want to?
Yeah.
Why? It's 2.5 hours long, and it might as well be called Tonto the movie.
It's Johnny Depp, and by God, it looks more exciting than Blade.
Trust me, it won't be. It'll be as stupid and probably more offensive.
Possibly.
That was the one thing about this film. I don't know if it is borderline racist, but it was certainly pushing it.
Seems to be.
Every sort of these stereotypes every nationality is a sort of stereotype. Interestingly, except for the two females, which I'm actually sort of like, is that showing some sort of sensitivity? I don't know. It's like, we can't be racist and sexist. That would be terrible. It would be racist all the way through. And
I still wanted to know, we left before we saw the end of credits, but I wanted to know if John Cleese did the voice of the British Bulldog.
It did sound
really
like
sounded
him.
like him.
It's entirely...
I was just like, please, John Cleese, just don't be in this movie.
Well, he has to do something.
You were too good for this movie.
He's not got much he can do anymore.
But
He's old.
I know, but...
do what he can.
I know, but still... Oh, I'm kind of worried it is going to be him because the accent was so...
Yeah, it doesn't...
So his.
But it's questionable racism, I would almost have to say when I'm talking about it, because it's just... The characters are specific stereotypes. If you could think of a stereotype for the Mexicans being very loud and obnoxious, not saying they are, that's how the film portrays them.
They made him like a matador, didn't they? With
he was more he was a luchador essentially.
Whatever that.
Matador is bullfighter. Matador is a bullfighter.
I'm thinking more of Spain here.
Yeah, he did say he spoke Spanish, which I thought you're Mexican. Is that Mexican Spanish?
I'm getting confused.
I don't know my
This movie just makes me want to go smack my head against a wall. That's just how bad this movie just makes me feel.
Yes, yeah.
It
could have been worse. It could have been Smurfs too. Which is what I keep saying.
Yes. Do you still want to continue dating me?
It was John Cleese.
Oh no.
Oh, there's...
No, please, why?
Admittedly, there was... Most of the people who were doing voices here are people who just... They've not had much else to do. You can't blame them. They don't have much they could do. Although Julia Louis-Dreyfus, what the hell were you doing in this movie?
It's the movie
better
industry.
things.
It's
VP.
the movie industry suffering as much as everybody else.
No, Disney just once again. This all comes back to my whole thing of Disney just thinking they can shit out anything that will buy it, which unfortunately we will.
No, originally we thought this was like a Pixar Disney. We thought it wasn't it originally?
It's funny.
It's actually not.
It's funny how they never, but funnily enough, they've never said it was Pixar. Everyone just said it's Pixar because it looks like Pixar. Because it's designed like Pixar. Because it's the same world as Pixar.
I thought it was terrible anyway. I just didn't like the whole animation. That's the correct word. See, look, it's making me so angry.
The animation was the same as Cars.
No, it was not.
Just slightly reduced.
It was not. The animation was not the same as Cars. It was a lot more cartoony. No,
I couldn't help. No, it's the pun in my head just went.
It makes sense in my head.
It was the same animation.
No,
the animation was no different.
The animation was different. It was much more cartoony.
I don't know. I wouldn't have said. I would have said it might have been a little less. It might have been a little less detailed at times.
Possibly,
but most of it. But given that it is the same production studio, it's almost the same production studio. It's Disney instead of Pixar. there isn't always going to be those changes, but it looked about the same to me. I would have had trouble placing it. I know you hate it. I didn't. I don't hate it, but I just think it's forgettable, so I don't really care. That's why. If it had been truly insulting to my intelligence, I would have cared more about the movie. No, it just wasn't. It just wasn't my win. It was just poorly done and cliched. That's the thing. It's one of those moments where it's like the trailer we got for Turbo. That's insulting to my intelligence. This is just stupidly done and is.
You can't suspend your disbelief with Turbo, can you?
He somehow turns into a car, which I don't understand.
Snail should have died. We had this conversation.
For all intents and purposes, yeah, we have put it in.
This conversation.
That's the fun though. It's a forgettable film where it's every cliche in the book, and there's a moment later on. Like, there's even those moments later on, which is still the stupidest moment. And it's funny how I didn't really think about this too much at first. But it has this ridiculous moment where he's been trained by this guy for ages, and then he learns that the guy's lied to him about what his past was. And he basically is then pissed off at the guy. He's like, right, so he did train you, though, to get where you are now. He might have lied about his past, but he did continuously give you this information and help you. Why are you pissed off, you asshole? Admittedly, though, it's Dane Cook, so I shouldn't be fucking surprised. Dane Cook is not a good answer.
The fighter plane called Skipper.
Skipper,
that was it.
Voiced by another
Reminds me of the kangaroo.
What?
You know, it's Skippy.
You're thinking Skippy, yeah.
Kangaroo. And Skipper on a boat.
Yeah, that was the joke of it. Because Skipper's first mate.
Yeah, okay, right.
every name you could. Yeah, every name.
Couldn't care.
This is just Disney doing what they do, which is just they take something that was good, or anything close to something that was good, because Cast 2 did not quite do as well as the original, and just go.
See, I think
I don't care for Owen Wilson. I don't care that much for Owen Wilson.
I think I'm more annoyed at this movie because I did actually enjoy Cars 1 and Cars 2.
Yeah, I enjoyed Cars 1.
I think that's why I'm more
annoyed
Cars 2 at this movie, because even though I already knew it was going to be nothing like that, and it probably wasn't going to be to the same
extent. I don't know, it was, because it was stealing plot points from Cars 1 and Cars 2.
You know what I hated? They had the cow tractors. And you just knew.
It's the same universe.
Yeah.
It's the same world. So
but you knew when you saw those cow tractors, they were going to get tipped over. You knew that.
Oh, yeah, like I said, they're just stealing things from the original. They're just going on about it. And it's just... It's funny how when I think about it more and more, they just stole bits from Cars 1 and 2. The antagonist from the first film, they stole his paint job for the antagonist for this, because it's green and black. And if you want to tell me that that's not stealing it almost perfectly, his personality is exactly the same. The same way, the same things he does.
I win all the races, I've won all the time,
yeah,
I win nothing.
And him cheating to win, stuff like that.
Yes.
It's the same personality and they just stole him. But what
the whole good side thing with taking my photo on this side. Do you remember that we was... Yeah, because they have...
It's when he starts doing the Kachika. Yeah, it's the same fucking character. Yes. What the strange thing I didn't understand was it's supposed to be a massive international race with all of these different countries competing, because you've got Britain, Japan. They showed as just a picture.
They showed.
Mexico, Canada. It's just Asia seemed to be this meant to be Indian plane, but it seemed it was just India is just this one person. There's not loads of separate countries. They had 21 planes competing, and at least 4 of them were American. How does that make sense?
I don't know.
Because it's supposed to be an international competition. Suddenly you've got 4 against 1 of everyone else, and 2 of them are working for the same person. So they can cheat and help.
They had representatives from other main countries. There was no Russia there.
There might have been Russia, but might have just been one of those moments of seen and gone. Admittedly, I never did hear actually a really poorly done Russian accent come out of any plane. It might have been a good thing.
So you feel better. There was no Russians in this movie, so I feel better.
No, because they insulted the Russians. They just did it in a very, very fun little way. which is they had.
They insulted everybody in this.
Oh, they insulted. Yeah, they're equal opportunity offenders. Fucking well out. Because they have this really sort of stereotypical. Essentially, pretty much sort of the idea he's German. Actually, this woman car is the best way I can put it.
Woman? No, it's a car. It's a male car, isn't it?
No. It's different. I'm thinking of this specific scene. There's he's getting served a drink at one point, the main character, and there's this sort of female. There's this female car with these big sort of blonde braids, but she's talking in this really sort of gruff accent. I couldn't help but just think, wow, you've just taken on all the insults now, haven't you?
Were they expecting like the Highlandy countryside of Germany? Or Austria?
I don't know. I just after a while, I don't know why I would expect them to be anything but any sort of intelligence. It's truly a question.
I swear to God, this movie sucks your intelligence.
It probably did take a few
IQ
IQ points.
That steals your intelligence because it's so numbing.
The thing is, this should never have been a theatrical release. Never, shouldn't have been. All they did.
That's not English.
Stat my intelligence. You just said. Talk. I would. You know, I would.
That's like I was a door negative. Yeah.
But this shouldn't have been a theatrical release ever. And
so this is what this movie has done to you. It has stolen your intelligence, and we can't talk properly because this movie has destroyed us.
Destroyed someone. I've seen far worse.
Oh no.
Make you watch the Smurfs. Destroy your brain.
No, we're not watching the Smurfs. Never. I never want to see a Smurf. Never. And they better not make a third movie of the Smurfs.
Oh, they will. But it just becomes really with these movies that this sort of movie is just, it shouldn't have been a theatrical release. They released it entirely like this and 3D because they wanted to make money, which seems to be the way Disney's going now at the moment. I'll give them a clue. Disney, if you want to make money, release some of your old TV shows on DVD. You will rake in the cash from nostalgia alone.
Or release a better version of Basil the Great Mouse Detective.
No, the original's as good as it is.
I don't like Basil.
Remake it, just screw it. Just screw it.
No, but like when you bring it out on DVD. Because you can't really, like, it's one of those...
Oh, I can find it. But I can buy Ouija 1. I can buy Ouija 1 DVD and play it, so I'm quite happy about it.
Shut up.
That's the DVD player. It cost me like 60 quid to get a Ouija DVD player.
Well,
that has worked perfectly and has allowed me to watch most of the Justice League.
Good for you. I don't care.
Should Justice League later?
No. No.
Justice League is awesome.
No. Moving on. But this terrible, terrible movie. Will it ever end?
Probably not.
No, I probably sat there thinking, I have a box of sweets here. I'll be fine. And then I kind of like ate sweets, and then I was just like, you know, actually, I'm not fine. I want to leave. Just like, let's go see what they're showing next door, because whatever they're showing in the next theatre probably better than this movie.
We've got in Smurfs 2.
No!
Fantastic.
Stop it!
Fantastic.
No.
It's just like, I can't stand this movie, I'm going to go into the other one. Oh god, it's Smurfs 2. I mean, I got really with it as a film, it's not awful per se. It's just not. I could put it on in the background and do other stuff. I wouldn't pay attention because I'd know what would happen. There is nothing here to throw you for a loop. There is nothing that hasn't been seen or done before in countless varying ways. And I admit that it's difficult to make an original film. I realise that. I'm doing a university course which is all about this sort of stuff. I get that it's difficult.
Yeah. But what part of me
anything original.
No...
Oh no, wait, sorry, no. They do have something original. They do have something original. Unfortunately, it doesn't ever really come into fucking play.
What is that?
Which is him being afraid of heights.
You know what would have made a better story? If they actually said, you know, he's afraid of heights because of this and this and this.
Yeah, they never really explained, did it? It's just, you're a plane!
You know what?
Can't be afraid.
The first time it came up that he was afraid of heights, it really sounded like...
They sound like the film was questioning themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a plane!
And it was like, as if he was then going to say, I'm afraid of heights because of this. But they just said, oh no, it's just a casual phobia, he's just afraid of heights. There's no purpose behind it. He only goes like low on the ground. He doesn't care. It's like
they could have done anything, sort of family trauma, friends, anything. They really could have.
To him.
Because admittedly, later on in the film, they show about 6 or 7 planes technically being killed.
Yes, they do.
They show a bunch of planes being shot down in this flashback, and it's
a war.
It's that sort of war club. But it's like, so you couldn't have done that earlier to. Although I guess actually.
I didn't understand the content of that either. I was confused by the whole war thing.
Well, it's that he was flying in the war, and they
I
all got shot down, and he can't fly anymore.
Yeah.
Immediately, I started making airplane references at that point. I just the pilot's name was George Zip.
The historical content just irritated me.
It's very historical.
I know, but it just irritated me.
Why?
It just did, because I like war movies. Ow. And ow. Okay, that's what I know. This movie is just like so irritating me. I'm just like poking
Must cleanse. Must take out the eye.
I'm just gonna wash my eyes out now because this movie is just made me so angry and upset.
Is you angry and upset? God, you've seen me rant about Kick-Ass.
I know, but it's just such a terrible movie. It's a terrible movie.
You like Dark Shadows, and I think that got worse reviews than Planes did.
But that's different.
No, both terrible movies, both have shitty plots, and
I only watched Dark Shadows once.
You've only watched Planes once.
I know, but I can still judge Planes because I hate it. Dark Shadow needs closer reviewing.
No, it doesn't. Movie was shit. I watched it twice. I still think it's shit.
Well, that's you. You don't like vampires and you don't like horror movies.
I like vampires and I occasionally like horror movies. I have the box set of Phantasm and I've watched it countless times. And I've watched stuff with vampires in. Dark Shadows, however, it's just a really shitty movie.
This is what happens when you go see a terrible movie. It then makes you have rants about other terrible movies.
No, if I want to rant about a terrible movie, I'd rant about Kick-Ass.
No, you're doing that in your own time.
I've got a video. I'm just going to do a whole video on Kick-Asses. That is a long awaited video for me on that one.
And then you'll feel better, hopefully, and you won't have to rant at me about it anymore.
But I'll give it credit. It's actually done kind of better than some other films have at the moment. Even with 39 as its Metacritic score, which I know, is not always a good way to base it on. You can't base it on what other critics will think. And kids will probably like this. I would have, and it's not too insulting. It's at least not insulting to kids. I will, once again, give it credit because you've got to give credit where credit is due. It's not insulting to kids. They will learn about nationalities, which might be kind of interesting. They will learn a basic underdog story plot. Not too terrible. The fact that they will then probably see this plot done again and again and again throughout their lifetime will then probably make them realise, my God, this film's kind of crap.
But the thing is, most kids have forgotten about this movie anyway, I think.
Most kids will probably forget about this movie, as I have and will continue to do.
We kept the kids in our audience entertained enough.
There was one kid in front of us who was jumping up at the end.
Yeah, it's like, yay,
he was the most excitable little ball of energy. I was like, okay.
I think his mum gave him too much sugar.
Annoying if I had my mum's iPad, I could actually check what other films have got on the books. I was checking last night. Because stuff like Kick-Ass 2's got like 50 at the moment. I think Lone Ranger was on like 32 last time I checked. And there's stuff like Grown Ups 2 is gotten like 12 as a Metacritic score. Which admittedly, when fucking Planes is beating your movie, that's a worrying thing. But admittedly, Adam Sandler movie. So. But for one funny comedian to another, Dane Cook is the main character. So
I still did not care.
There's a lot of padding in this movie actually, I think about as well, which causes real issues. It's just it serves no real purpose. It doesn't come back to affect anyone. The only reason it's there is so that it can have that one big scene of basically to quote Lord of the Rings, you have my axe and my sword and my bow, and that might as well be it. It is just that moment.
I wasn't made to feel anything for the character.
No, he doesn't really have much to him.
No, there was nothing, and I wasn't made to feel concerned about him. I wasn't interested in him. It was so bloody obvious.
It's Dane Cook. It was so
bloody obvious once he got into the race anyway that he was going to win, and I was just like, actually, I'm not interested in this.
Yeah, but we know that from our standpoint because we've seen those movies. We've seen countless those movies where it is.
And I still really don't like how he even got in the first place. The whole cliche of, the person who actually beat you actually turned out that he'd taken.
See, what's
You
funny
like
was
Amazon
I
things.
expected that to be one of the reveals at the end, that the guy who kept winning had taken it, and that's what happened, and yet they didn't. And I was sort of amazed almost at it. I thought, that would be a big sort of thing about it, and they didn't. I'm like, all right. Well, admittedly, I guess you can't do that at the beginning and do it at the end, because that just is just overusing it.
I still feel like I just need to just quietly go somewhere and scream.
I don't know. That movie's not pissed. That movie's not. It's not pissed me off enough to be that. It's not made me that. It's just not made me that angry. It's just one of those moments of just. It's just nothing. It's a footnote in Disney, because Disney has produced some classic movies. This, unfortunately, is not one of them. This should be, along with stuff like Lady and the Tramp 2, The Little Mermaid 2, and every other sort of Disney put out to DVD sequel, should have been an out to DVD release. Strange Studios, no way they should have been a theatrical release. Given that they changed the main voice actor for Dusty because it wasn't Dane Cook originally. Because admittedly, kids are going to go see a movie because of Dane Cook. Look, it's what the fuck Dane Cook is. A few years, neither will anyone else probably, but still, I have a real thing with Dane Cook. He's not been in great things. He's okay in some things. I saw him in. He's funny enough. He's in an episode of Hawaii Five-0, and he actually is playing a sort of sleazy sort of character. He does really well.
Thing you will forget about this movie, all the actual names, not the character names, but the actual names of the planes. Because throughout this movie,
they keep naming them.
They keep naming all the planes and all the special planes and what this plane does and what that plane does. But by the time you come out this movie, all that is gone.
Yeah, there is.
I don't remember any of the actual names of the planes.
Yeah, I mean, I think even Hayao Miyazaki, who is a really big fan of sort of flying and planes, especially if you watch Porco Rosso, because that's really well done. I think even he would be like, yeah, I know all this stuff and I don't really care. It adds nothing.
It adds nothing, and I don't know why they did it, because it's not as if the kids are going to know this stuff.
I guess it's to make it seem like they're saying something interesting and
important.
More real. It's and that they might be saying something a bit more, like when they're talking about, oh, your cylinder's gone and all this stuff, and it's like, right, that makes no sense because we don't know it, we don't understand it.
Because they're using all the terminology stuff.
Well, yeah, they just use this sort of terminology. It makes no real.
It's insane. It's time to think that even that Thomas the Tank Engine would look better than this.
Thomas the Tank Engine thing still scares the shit out of me. Their soulless eyes, soulless and lifeless. My soul.
Just that movie want to steal your soul.
The characters do. They just stare lifeless.
Thomas the Tank Engine character's like, we'll steal your soul because we don't have souls. Look into our soulless eyes. Look into our soulless eyes.
They probably will. It's the fear. But that's the thing. I mean, if you've got little kids, fucking take them. To
probably. What was it?
No.
Take them to see Monsters Inc. That was better.
You mean Monsters
University. Oh, make them watch. Yeah.
I don't know. Monsters University.
I preferred that. That was the last animated movie we went to see. And it's World's End before that and this one.
I'm trying to think of which. Oh, Monsters University was less cliched. Was less cliched. It still had all the cliches of a genre that doesn't link. I don't think he did, because most of the stuff I was being drawn in by was the dichotomy between Mike and Sully, which had already been set up due to the prior movie, which is the problem. Yeah, I found it more interesting. But this is
just sucked. And I want to just bang my head against the wall and wash my eyes out and just forget I ever saw it.
Yeah, Disney needs to. I question sometimes what Disney thinks, other than just money.
I need to go watch a serious adult horror movie or something now to cleanse my soul.
I sometimes have visions of the executives of the Disney sort of the executives of Disney singing "If I Was a Rich Man," but then going, "Oh wait, we are," and then laughing their asses off. That's what I sort of imagine goes on in their offices. But that's it. I mean, I have a sizable beef with Disney anyway, with just the live action shit they put out.
No, I'm lucky because I don't have the Disney Channel at home, so I've never been I never saw it.
They're sat around on it. Tuesday afternoon going, I wonder what's on Disney. Oh, good God, no.
No, I never sat around watching stuff like that. No.
It makes for good reviewing and insulting. I do want to do a sort of thing about Disney and just it's the terrible live action stuff, but I just break because it's all the stuff's the same. But I don't think I could sit through most of it. I think the last thing I sat through was their original programming. Probably would have been the early episodes of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and then it just went on too long, and then they decided, oh, let's move it onto a boat. That makes total sense. Oh, Disney, why do you? It's funny actually. In the last few years, Disney's become very solidly hit or miss. There's never a middle ground. It always seems to either make the worst shit or they make something interesting. And that's and that seems to be it. And it's unfortunate for them. It's unfortunate for Disney that's happened. It's unfortunate for us that we had to sit through a terribly crappy 3D movie, but it's just but I mean, so did anyone else who has to review it. So although they didn't have to pay. So.
I have a headache from this movie as well now. This is what happens is, you go see this movie, it makes you feel unintelligent, it gives you a headache.
It just makes me think I could write better and will prove them.
Yes. You get to see lots of people lots of different countries and various things being stereotyped and insulted and...
It's a very mild insult. It's hardly the black and white minstrel show. It's not quite the most overt racism. It's just very slight. Their entire personality is made up of they come from this country. They have nothing better than that personality.
Yes, therefore that is like. Yeah.
But it's an hour and a half. If your kids want to go see it, hell, it won't make them stupider. It could be worse. It could be The Smurfs 2. It could be that. Yes, or for me, it could be Kick-Ass 2. That could be worse. Yeah. That's not doing too much better with the critics.
You don't want to go see either of them, do we?
No. I might go see Kick-Ass 2. I keep flicking back and forth on whether I want to go see it or not.
I'm not with you. As long as you don't decide to explode in the same
I won't. If looking at reviews of that film, I'll just state it once or twice. I'm just going to be confused about it.
Confused, angry, upset that it's not following the comic.
Oh, I never expected that anyway. No.
I don't understand all these geek nerd rages about things that don't follow comics or things that aren't right.
I've tried over the years to avoid since then saying that phrase. I've tried to make sure that anything I've said of a criticism of that film is not because it doesn't follow comics. And I have worked it out. I worked out why it annoys me and what it is the problem with it. And it just took a while to bottle it down to proper reasoning. But we'll take a break here and then...
Don't go see this movie, people. It's terrible.
Then we have one or two trailers to discuss.
Steal your soul! Don't go and see this movie.
Don't see it in 3D at least if you're going to take kids to see it. Don't spend more money than you have to. That's all I say. So we'll see you in a minute. Right, well, very quickly, because most of the trailers we had were ones from 4, stuff like Thomas the Tank Engine, Turbo, Sir Justin and Knights of Valor, Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs 2. I think the only one out of those we will see definitely is Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs 2.
Yeah, so
because that actually looks awesome. Whereas all the rest are just...
It does look quite interesting, doesn't it, that one? It seems quite fun.
Yeah, and it's got an interesting product. There's a few sort of those jokes where...
strawberry.
Serious? Yeah, it's got a few... It's looking like it's going to be okay, which hopefully it will, because the first one was good. Underrated, I think, a little from people. I've never heard people talk about it as much. Maybe they should. But interesting. Then we had a trailer for Frozen. I still have no idea what the hell that movie's about, and no one else seems to.
I kind of liked how they did the trailer though, because the trailer.
At
first, I thought it was like a short.
Oh no, it's a short. It's just a short disguised as a trick. It's a short as a trailer for something. But it doesn't.
Okay. Right. That didn't work for you because it didn't tell you what the movie was about.
Yeah.
I still thought it was funny though.
Kind of.
There was a snowman. He lost his nose.
See, that's me.
A reindeer that came along and tried to eat his nose.
It was a moose.
And then, was it a moose? It was difficult to tell it was a reindeer or a moose. Reindeer, moose.
Elk. We can throw all of them.
It was a reindeer, moose type of animal, basically.
Who's it?
I was going with reindeer,
but it's just nothing.
I thought it was a Christmas movie.
Nothing I've heard about that movie though is to explain what it's about. I'm just going to look on IMDb one. Try and find it. Maybe
it was cute
though,
because then you think that the reindeer moose thing is going to eat his nose, which is a carrot, by the way. But then it turns out that actually no, because he puts it back in the snowman's face, and that actually made me laugh.
It didn't make me laugh, but that's because I've got a heart of ice. Ironic.
I would rather have gone to see that movie because it looked more
I wouldn't. I imagine it's going to be something
bad. What was the other wintry, autumny movie we saw? Because there was another.
I'm going to get started in a minute.
Oh. So what's Frozen about then?
Right, according to this, Frozen is fearless optimist Anna teams up with Kristoff in an epic journey, encountering Everest-like conditions and a hilarious snowman named Olaf in a race to find Anna's sister Elsa, whose icy powers have trapped the kingdom in eternal winter. That had no fucking connection to the fucking trailer! All you've shown me in that trailer is the two side characters who are going to fucking annoy me!
Oh my god. Is the snowman really called Olaf?
Apparently so.
How are these
And,
like Olaf as...
Olaf as in the in the series of Ultra Events books that you're reading.
Yeah, that I happen to be rereading and there's a count Olaf. I'm not going to be able to sit through that movie once it's straight. That'd be weird. I don't think about it.
I can only state that just makes me now more irritated than I possibly can. If you have a trailer, have a fucking trailer and show what the movie is about. Don't just go, oh look, actually I know what this is. That is that idea. That's trying to copy frigging DreamWorks with Scratch. With that frigging with that. They're trying to make that sort of a joke.
Thing and,
Unfortunately, that lost all fucking frigging credibility after the second one. Because after a while it's just
he's cute. He just wants to eat his acorn and he cannot get his acorn.
yeah, after a while the running gag runs thin.
But not for me though.
Just
It's funny.
but I'm just seeing if there's any sort of information, but no. It looks like it may be based on the Snow Queen, but I just don't care. But no, if you're gonna, I get the idea of having something like that because it worked well when DreamWorks did it when they introduced Ice Age, because I remember those trailers. But if you're gonna waste my time, then waste my time. Don't bullshit me really with that shit. I just really annoy. But no, the final thing.
That sentence was correct either.
I don't really give a shit. It's just gonna be a movie that's just gonna be. I just won't care.
Calm down.
Now the final trailer, the one you were talking about, has the stupidest premise.
I can't remember what it was. My head hurts too much.
It's called Freebird.
Oh, I know. It's the one with the turkeys. It's the Thanksgiving turkeys.
Yeah.
I've actually seen this trailer before.
I actually hadn't seen it. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe I heard about it, then I seen clips of it.
I probably told you about it.
But it's the one where there's a turkey who lives on a farm and doesn't he once again want to be something more than he actually is? No. But anyway, he gets selected by the president to go live in the White House to be the president's turkey for Thanksgiving, doesn't he?
No.
No?
Not exactly.
Anyway, it doesn't matter because then there's another turkey who shows up and they decide that they're going to go back in time to make sure that turkeys are free or safe or whatever. I give up, isn't it?
Essentially, yeah, you got a good solid amount of the plot there.
Yeah, I'm a writer!
Essentially what happens is, to anyone who's in England or anywhere else that's not in America, so they wouldn't know about this, every year on Thanksgiving, the president pardons one turkey from being eaten. That's fucking wonderful. That's delightful. But then...
Why does he only pardon one turkey?
I don't know. But then, this
fair.
other turkey comes along and says to him, I've got this thing that I know about. I don't know how he knows about it. And basically is that I know where there's a time machine and we're going to go back in time to stop turkeys becoming a meal, becoming the traditional bird of Thanksgiving.
Oh, is that what happens?
It's the stupidest fucking... It's Owen Wilson again as well. Fucking Owen Wilson. It's the stupidest premise. It's...
It kind of look funny.
Dressed up like Indians.
Maybe
fucking Indians. It's a stupid premise. It is the
And what are the chances that it's actually going to come out around about Thanksgiving time as well?
Oh, it will. If I will, it won't matter to us because we're celebrating Thanksgiving because we're friggin' England.
No, but some of them might not make for real, though, won't it?
But it's just... It's such... Can't even explain how much that premise just...
Oh, no, you're getting it right.
Idiotic. It's just that sort of premise. It's been done. It's been done again and again. And unless it... Actually, Chicken was a better version of that idea.
Oh, right, okay.
Chicken one doesn't go, we will try time travel.
We got turkey, we can do anything we like.
So fucking time travel in there, it's questionable.
There's a turkey, there's like a time machine that's been built somewhere, they go back in time, they try to save turkeys.
All I can imagine is the ending of that film either is one of two things. It's one that turkeys are replaced and no longer the traditional bird of sort of Thanksgiving. Or that at the end of the film, the turkeys realise, no, we must be eaten for the good of mankind, and somehow become some kind of turkey Jesus.
Oh, no!
I will blaspheme any way I like, thank you.
No, turkey Jesus, no!
He died for your cranberry sauce. Don't forget.
That was lame.
Oh, really? As bad as that joke? As bad as the joke in the trailer? How should we address the situation, sir? With cranberry sauce. Actually, that is a good joke. Incredible. That did make me so smile. It's like, yeah, joke, I think. But it's just such a painful idea. I don't know who it's by. I think it was by DreamWorks, but I don't know. If it is, they're running out of ideas. I actually don't think it was, though, because the animation looked...
The animation was a bit weird, didn't it?
Yeah, it didn't look up to it. I think it was from the producers of Shrek. I think that one was from. I think so. Whenever a film says from the producer, that means nothing. It literally doesn't mean anything. Because the writer will be the person who's going to design the story, and the director will be the person who's deciding how it looks. Producer means shit all, really, in the grand scheme of things. And it bugs me whenever I see that. Whenever I see from the producer of this, like, who cares? There have been films that have gone from 2 of the 6 writers of Scary Movie. That didn't make it good.
Okay,
Just bet it was going to be shit.
Basically, we're not going to go see any of these movies?
Probably not now. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, yes. Everything else might as well go hang itself.
Okay.
And at least we didn't get the One Direction trailer again. You didn't want that.
No, I thought if One Direction trailer comes on again, I'm going to walk out.
It was too young an audience.
But yeah, I think because the One Direction trailer is, I think it's, is it like a PG or something like that?
It's probably going to be somewhere PG-12.
12, because this was a U, so we got all the baby.
Really though, and this is where we're going to end off because I'm about to say something extraordinarily offensive. Really though, I would think that the One Direction movie should be an 18 because I don't see how you can show 4 on screen for that long. Really, I don't know how you do it.
You're not allowed to say that word.
I'm saying that word.
You're not
saying that word.
say that word. Oh my god, no, you're not. Oh my god. You're not allowed to use that word. That's like the most offensive word ever.
And it might as well be used for One Direction.
Yes, but you don't say that on the internet.